Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Off-Farm Income Podcast. Thank you very much for joining us here on our YouTube channel for episode number 871. Well, today we are going to Kentucky, and I've got a great interview with you with a very fascinating young lady who started setting her sights on being a state officer when she was just 4 years old, and she's just achieved that very worthy goal. Karli Childers is going to be joining us, talking to us all about landscape architecture, nursery operations, her own landscaping business, and everything that she wants to do in her career. She's just getting started at the University of Kentucky here later this month, and she'll be majoring in landscape architecture. And we get to talk a lot about this career and what is available to you through it. It's a fascinating interview. We hope you'll enjoy it, and we're going to start it for you right now. Well, joining me today is Karli Childers, and Karli is coming to us from Kentucky. I'm assuming, well, we're in midsummer, so I'm assuming you're home, and with COVID and all of that, you're home, Karli. Now, Karli is studying landscape architecture currently at the University of Kentucky. She's a former regional president and was at the Boyd County High School FFA chapter there in Ashland, Kentucky, and owns a business, Karli's Cute Creations, Floral Designs, and Landscaping. And this has all led to multiple proficiency awards. I've gotten my notes here: Regional Star in Agribusiness, State Proficiency, Landscape Management, and Entrepreneurship. And I think there was one more on there, Karli, that I did not get written down. But, man, what a resume you've got. So welcome to the show. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, you bet. It is my pleasure to speak with you, and I'm really looking forward to learning more. So where do we find you today? Are you in Ashland, Kentucky this morning?
Yep, I'm in Ashland, Kentucky. I'm currently getting ready to move out and head to Lexington to college. So
okay,
we're kind of in that the move-in transition.
Now, are you just getting ready to start? Is this going to be your freshman year of college?
Yes.
Okay.
This will be my freshman year.
So you just graduated this May or this June?
Yeah, this May.
Okay, well, congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you.
You bet. Well, that's exciting, and off to Lexington, so now you're going to be a Wildcat.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now, everything looked like it's happening. You're going to be able to go off to school and start as normal? Okay.
Yes, as of right now, everything's starting as normal. I've got my schedule figured out and roommate and everything, so if anything changes, it'll be in the next few weeks, but I don't think it will.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that, and I'm excited for you. I can remember when I moved off, and I got a dorm room, I got a roommate. It was all a brand new experience for me. It was an exciting time. There was opening up a whole new world.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Well, so tell me about home in Ashland. Do you live on a farm? Are you in town, or maybe something kind of in the middle of those two?
I currently live in town. It's a small town, but we are about to move on our family farm that we have a few miles from town. So,
okay.
Not only am I moving to college, we're moving houses too.
So it's like Karli is out of here, everybody. We're packing it up. We're moving. She's not going to know where to find us. No, you'll know. Yeah. You'll know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so, well, that's ironic timing. So, and I'm sure it has nothing to do with anything other than just the way it all worked out. But
yeah.
So tell me about the farm. Is this something that your folks just bought, or is this something that's been in the family for some time?
So the farm has been in the family for some time. It started out as a dairy farm in the early on, and then my grandfather married my grandmother, and it was her family's farm, and he got a piece of land of that farm and put a nursery on it.
Okay.
And so our bit of farm is now a nursery, and all of his children very soon are going to be living on it, and the grandchildren, and yeah, it's a little piece of heaven.
Well, that is great. So everyone's going to be there. It'll be like a big family compound.
Yep.
Except probably spread out with multiple houses.
Yes.
Very cool. That is exciting. And so was the farm was in your grandmother's family, and then when they got married, your grandpa and your grandma, he also bought a piece of land.
Yes, he bought it off of her father.
Whoa, excuse me. I had to sneeze. That's never happened to me on a Zoom meeting before. Sorry about
That's
that, Carly.
fine.
I'm sorry. So he bought a piece of land from your grandmother's father. Is that right?
Yes,
Okay,
off
got it.
the family.
And started the nursery way back then.
Yeah,
Is
the
that
nursery's been in our family for as long. I mean, longer than I've been living.
no kidding? Now, what
Yeah.
part of Kentucky is Ashland in?
So it's eastern. So where Kentucky, Ohio, and West Virginia meet in Ashland, Kentucky is right there.
Okay,
So I can look out of my house and see two different states.
is that right? Okay,
Yeah.
very interesting. Very cool. So now I'm trying to, you know, I've been to Kentucky. I like Kentucky, but I can't picture any of it in my mind on a map. So how far is Lexington for you? How far do you got to drive to get to school?
2 hours, an
Okay.
hour and a half to 2 hours.
Hour and a half to 2 hours. Okay, very good. Okay, now the farm today. I know about the nursery part, which is your family's part, I'm assuming.
Yes.
The rest of the farm, what is it? Is it in production still?
Yes. So for a while it wasn't, and then my uncle bought some beef cows and started
Mm-hmm.
to start beef production on the farm, on his bit of farm. So yeah, we kind of went out and stopped farming for a little bit, but now it's going back to its roots, and I love seeing it.
That's great. That's wonderful. All right. Well, so how long have you been part of the FFA?
I've been officially part of it for 4 years, and I'll actually get to continue this year. I just got elected the Big Sandy Region State Vice President, so I'm not alumni yet. I'm super blessed. But the FFA has also been a part of my whole life. My father is an ag teacher.
Okay.
So I've always kind of been a part of FFA, going to all the workshops and, watching all these members go through, and couldn't wait till I finally got to be a part of it. And here I am.
Very cool. Well, congratulations on your election.
Thank you.
You bet. So now, when did that happen? When did that come about?
Uh, July 2nd was when we found out
Okay.
the results.
July 2nd. And then I was reading over the notes that you'd provided me prior to the interview, and it says regional president. Is that something different, or is that the title we're talking about?
That is something different.
Tell me about that.
So in Kentucky, it's different in every state. In Kentucky, we have chapters, and then we combine some chapters and regions, and then from region it goes to state.
Okay.
So I was over all the chapters in our region as regional president.
Okay. And then so you just got elected to the Big Sandy. What is that? Another region?
State vice president.
Oh.
So I am the state officer for our region.
I've got it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Ah, congratulations. So
Thank you.
You bet. So you're carrying that into college, and will you be pursuing your American degree?
Yes.
Very
yes,
cool.
I will be.
That is great. And then any eyes, and I know you just found out, so no pressure on this, but any eyes on national officer level?
Not really. I don't know yet, but I've been through many of the interviews of how we select candidates for national officer,
Uh-huh.
and it's pretty tough.
Yeah. Well, it should be,
Great
right?
competition. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be. I mean, you're getting all the way up to what the six. I think there's six national officers. Am I remembering that right? And I mean, that's it. Above 700,000 FFA students. So yeah, it should be tough, I would think.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, good for you. So what will your duties as a state officer be?
Traveling all over the region, being an advocate for agriculture, connecting with members, just things like that, meeting with politicians in Kentucky, and just representing the FFA and our state.
And so how will that work with your college schedule?
So there will be times where I'll miss classes, but as of right now, due to this pandemic, we really don't know what it's going to look like.
Sure.
But I talked to my advisor, my college advisor, and all the professors that I'll have, and they're very understanding and will work with my schedule.
Okay. Well, so what pushed you to this level? How did you get involved in being an officer in the first place, and then keep it going all the way up to being a state officer?
Yes. So I've been a part of FFA, through high school, but I've watched and been a part of it my whole life. And that has been the first goal I've ever set, and the only goal I've really set for myself was one day I'm going to be a state officer.
Okay.
And so I knew I wanted to be a state officer when I was 5, and I was telling everybody that.
Really?
And when I got up to when it's time, you're kind of like, oh my gosh. Like, I didn't realize these people and how important they were in this organization. I was telling them when I was 4 what I was going to do.
Uh-huh.
And so it was always been a goal. But when I entered high school and became an official member, I really looked into, like, why are you running for state officer? What is the goal?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not for the title. I'm not doing this because my dad's an ag teacher and it's expected of me. I truly love this organization. So it's just finding out a why and working towards that goal. And I think being an officer, chapter, regional, really prepares you for state office, but also it's just a good way to learn new skills, leadership skills, business skills, and communication skills that you need in day-to-day life.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a wonderful way to learn that. And man, you're going to have a great, speaking of work, I don't know what, we'll get to this in the interview, but your resume, all of that is going to be outstanding. That is great. And, it dawns on me, and I've got a 13-year-old daughter, 14. She's just starting FFA here in about a month. And, 4 and 5-year-old kids say a lot of things. To hear a story where you said this when you were 4 or 5 years old, and people were probably like, "Oh, that's cute. That's really nice." But here you've done it. You've accomplished it. That's really something. And then, so your dad is your FFA advisor. Did he do the officer route when he was in FFA himself?
Yes, he actually ran for state office when he was in high school. But he wasn't elected.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not living vicariously through me, but I think he will take the opportunity.
Oh, very cool. Oh, that's wonderful. What a great family tradition. Very, very interesting. Okay, so obviously we know why you joined the FFA. You grew up with it, and you've been aspiring to this for years. And so what's the list of titles you've held as an officer, starting with your chapter?
So at the end of freshman year, I ran for my first office. And I was running for reporter. I ended up getting historian, and I was kind of upset about it. I was kind of big-headed, I know all this stuff. But I ended up liking the position I was put in, and they put me in that position because that's what I would have done best. And I was also going to be a sophomore. I can't be this huge officer and take on this big responsibility when I can't even drive to places that they're going to be at. So I started out as a historian and then made a jump to vice president the year after that.
Okay.
And then my senior year, I was put on as I interviewed for chapter president, which was what I was placed, and regional president. So senior year was kind of busy because I was the chapter president and regional president.
Yeah. Wow.
And then I ran for state office.
Very cool. Good for you. Well, now, how many FFA advisors do you have there at Boyd County High School?
We have 2.
You have 2. Obviously, one's your dad, and that's Joe Childers.
Yes.
Right. Who is the other?
Julie Helton.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for mentioning her, and I always love to mention our FFA advisors. I'm going to take a quick second here, Karli, and mention a couple of our great sponsors of this show. And everybody, of course, I want to talk about Lacrosse Footwear. Done right since 1897, Lacrosse Footwear has been making quality boots for hunting, working, and tending the land for over a century. I love to talk about lacrosse when I do my FFA episodes because they're so proud to support the FFA by annually sponsoring 15 scholarships along with 100 jackets as part of the Give the Gift of Blue program. And we use the Alpha Range boots here on our farm in Idaho every single day. We want you to do the same. Go on over to lacrossefootwear.com, check out everything they've got to offer you, and then head on down to your local farm and ranch retailer and outfit yourself with the best pair of neoprene-based rubber boots that you are going to find for working around your farm. And then, of course, Powder River Livestock Handling Equipment. Man, I just love this company. Love that they're a sponsor. Love the fact that I've got a green Powder River squeeze chute cattle panels out in our livestock yard here on our farm in Kuna, Idaho. And we want you to do the same on yours. Developed out here in the West with the toughest cattle we have in the entire country. Powder River knows how to make this equipment right. Let your local farm and ranch retailer know you want to see that Powder River green out in their sales yard, so you can have the finest in livestock handling equipment as well, and you can find them over at powderriver.com. All right, well, Karli, I ran down the list of your resume when we were starting off this interview, and it is long and it is impressive. But tell us, what was your supervised agricultural experience throughout high school?
So I did many experiences. I didn't just stick to one. When I started this, I wanted to explore the different industries in horticulture and find a career pathway that I was interested in. So freshman year, I started working on the nursery for my grandfather, just gaining experience before I really started an entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And then sophomore year, I started with growing mums and doing floral work for weddings. The first wedding I'd done was a family wedding, so I didn't make much off of it, but it was a good experience.
Right.
Yes. And then the year after that, I started to do landscape work with the floral and the mums. And then this past year, I just focused on landscape work. Just discovered a passion in that and found the career pathway. And so that was like my main focus.
Very interesting. Now, is your grandfather still running the nursery?
He is. It's not as big as it used to be because he is getting older, but I plan to kind of close it and then reopen it, back to its prime condition. But he's doing a lot of landscape jobs too.
Interesting. Now, the concept of doing that family wedding, I know you said you didn't get paid much, but it's very interesting. Even if you didn't get paid a dime, it gave you the ability to get some practice, to try something out. Obviously, you could take photographs. You could use those for marketing materials. I mean, sometimes when we're building a business, working for free is just fine because it gives us the chance to prove ourselves, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that is awesome. Now, you have a business today called Karli's Cute Creations Floral Design and Landscaping. Is that right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yep.
How long has that been official?
That has been official sophomore year when I started the floral designs, and then when I transitioned to the landscaping, I added the landscaping on into it.
Okay, so tell me about what you do today when it comes to landscaping. What kind of jobs are you doing?
I do more people who have houses. I don't really do industry landscaping.
Okay.
I just do every job at a time. I don't really have a crew. I'm not big name because I'm about to go to college and starting this huge business before college and keeping up with that during college would just be too hard on me. So,
well, there's a niche to fill at every single level. So you're doing mostly residential work.
Yes.
And so what kind of stuff are you putting in or designing for people?
Yes. So I'm putting in designs and implementing those designs. I do that, and then I do your basic pulling weeds and mulching. I'll take any work that I can get.
Oh, you're full service.
Yeah.
Good. We all need to start humbly, right, with the pulling of the weeds and doing that type of labor, and we can graduate into the higher level stuff, which obviously you're going to do because you are majoring in landscape architecture.
Yes.
Tell me about choosing that major.
So, in the beginning of high school, I was determined that I was going to go into agriculture education. It's been a part of my life, and I know how important it is and how important to keep it going is. But I was kind of, hesitant. Like, is this really what I want to do? Is this for me? So when I started my supervised agriculture experiences and started landscaping, I was like, I can see myself doing this my whole life, but I don't want to be like my papaw and just stay in the town and, do residential work. I want to go big, be big name. And my father attended a training at UK, and they were focusing on the landscape architecture program down there. So he introduced me to the program, and I talked to a lot of people and took tours. And then I found what I wanted to do and what I wanted to make a career out of.
Okay. Now, you said a couple times going big. What does that mean?
Just, I love my town and I love my community, but we have a few landscape architects in this town. They're great. I would love to do internships and shadow them for days just to know what they do. But I go on job research websites and see what jobs are posted to see all the various things that I can do. And I just want to travel first. I want to work with a bunch of different plants. Like if I want to put a lemon tree in somebody's landscaping, I can't do that here because they don't grow here. So, just travel a lot and do different landscapings, not just residential work, maybe industrial too, but.
So you want to work in different, what are those called? Temperate zones or whatever we call that, where you can grow different varieties of things and have longer growing seasons or shorter. And that's interesting. And, to be a landscape architect, I mean, we're talking, who knows where this is going to take you at this point.
Yeah.
But it could take you could be, you could be designing a golf course at some point. Or you could be in charge of, who knows, a major sports complex that has turf.
National forests.
My goodness. Central Park in New York. Who knows? I mean, there's a million different directions you could go with this.
Yeah.
And what's so exciting about it, too, is it really, I don't know. I'm making an assumption here, and you know what happens when you assume, but I'm making an assumption that in the world of being a landscape architect, that the jobs you get and the opportunities that are open to you are based very, very highly on merit. Meaning, if you're creating beautiful parks and putting together beautiful ecosystems, all the other stuff, politics, all that type of stuff goes out the window because people can look at your work and they can go, we want that done here. To me, that seems like just a benefit of this career. Is that people can see what you... Yeah.
Yeah, it's solely based on the work that you provide. It's not who is she and what does she know and, who does she know and all this.
And I know I'm being a little bit naive that at some level it's going to be all about, this person with this name designed this park. And they want the name on it, let alone what the park looks like or that... Who knows? No, I know there's going to be some of that. But, man, the percentage of what you do and what you get recognized for is going to be higher based on just your work performance. I think that's a great place to be because it's all up to you, right? Make or break.
Yep.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, so I'll tell you right now, I'm not smart enough to be an architect. That much I know. Landscape architect, is it different than are you going to be in classes with people who are going to be traditional architects, or is this in title alone where the word architect is built in?
So I will not be in classes with traditional architects. I'll just be with landscape architects.
Okay.
Learning alongside them. And actually in 2 years when I will be going into my junior year of college, UK's planning a design building where the architects, interior designers, and landscape architects will all meet and our classes will be there. So we'll be able to work together a lot more because right now we can't. But yeah, it's different than architecture in many aspects, but it's also kind of similar.
Okay.
In a way.
Well, the design aspect of it, right?
Yes.
And by the way, I can tell just by talking to you that you're way smart enough to sit in that classroom with actual architects. But this guy sitting right here, he's not. He can't do that math and all that type of stuff. Oh, that is fascinating. So do you have a dream project? Like when you lay at bed at night and you're just kind of thinking about your future career, is there some sort of dream out there that almost seems unattainable?
Not really. I kind of look at landscape designs and research other landscape architects and see things that they've designed and design aspects that I would like to try out in parks and other things. But I don't have this set dream of like, oh my goodness, if I redesigned Central Park and they took the bait and built it how I wanted it to be. Now, I do have goals and I do have some dreams, but nothing that's kind of unattainable, that I think, well, that's just too big. I couldn't do that.
Well, good. You shouldn't have that, right? You should think I'm capable of whatever it is I want to do. Now,
Yeah.
do you have any international aspirations when it comes to this, or you plan on staying in the United States?
Currently I plan on staying in the United States. In the program though, we do take the summer abroad and study landscape architecture in that country.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I plan to just solely be in the United States, but I'm not opposed to traveling across the world and, design for different countries. I think that'd be a great experience and just such a joy.
Yeah. So will you do that summer abroad?
Well, currently it's really up in the air due to the pandemic.
Right. Yeah.
It'll be going into my senior year, so that's sometime away where we can kind of recover from this. So.
Okay. So let me ask it a different way. Do you want to?
Oh, I would love to. I think they're so fun.
And do they select where you go, or do you get to pick what country you would go to?
So they have the program that's, the junior class will take a survey of like, where do you want to go and what aspect do you want to study? And
Mm-hmm.
then they'll kind of count up those and go from there.
Okay. And so there'll be some options on the table for you.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Well, that is exciting. So I've gone out of the country once. Well, let me back up on that. I've been to Canada and I've been to Mexico, but I've gone I'm off the continent. I've gone off the continent once. My family and I went to Germany and France and Austria a couple of years ago. But we were in Munich and we did a bicycle tour of Munich, and they took us to this park, and I wish I could remember the name of it. I can't remember the name of it. It was bigger than Central Park, which they were bragging about. It was a really interesting place to go. So I know I know this opportunity. There are opportunities doing this in other countries outside of the U.S. That is fascinating stuff. Okay, so you're starting college here soon, but then your classes, will they be? How much of it will focus on your major at the beginning?
So I only have 2 classes that are not focusing on my major, and that is English, and I joined an LLP, so it's a class for that. It's kind of gen ed classes. But other than that, and that's what I really liked about the program, is they cut out a lot of the middleman,
Mm-hmm.
and you're basically, all your classes can relate back to your major. And you're starting out, like my first semester, I'm doing plant ID and intro to landscape architecture. And then spring semester, I'll actually be in a lab doing projects. So.
Okay. And you talked about at some point restarting the nursery. So how does that fit into the plan? You want to go out and spread your wings and work around the country for a while and then ultimately come back and take over that business?
I plan to restart the nursery essentially after college, because I know there is going to be a dead period of me, moving out of college and looking
Mm-hmm.
for a job. Potentially, I might find a job right off the bat. It's just kind of up in the air, but I want to start it right after college and open it up. And it's kind of going to be a family-run business, so it's not just going to be me. It's going to be like my parents and everyone working together. So
very good. Well, that is exciting. Well, Karli, you've done so much, and man, you set such high goals so early in life. I'd love to ask your advice for other students out there. What advice do you have for them on setting high goals, but then always keeping them in front of you until you finally achieve them?
SMART goals. So specific, just all those, timely,
measurable,
achievable.
Achievable. Yeah.
SMART. And also, studying up, like how, learning how to achieve those goals. Like, I know this is a goal I want to make, but how am I going to get there? And kind of all the domino effect, When I want to be a state officer, I had to figure out what I needed to do to prepare myself to be a state officer and everything like that. So, yeah, it's just learning about the goal you've set and how to achieve that goal and make it.
Absolutely. I always call that reverse engineering. You go, I want to be a state officer. Okay, so now I can identify one part of this, and that is the top where I'm going to reach. And then what are the steps that are between
how do I get there?
between where I'm at right now and reaching that spot, and you obviously did that. That is great. Karli, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. This has been great.
Well, thank you for joining us, everybody. Thank you very much to Karli Childers for coming on the show today. And as always, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.